My name is Christine Leonard. I'm with the education team here at LittleBits, and I'm really, really excited to welcome you to this webinar today, bringing LittleBits to your school or district. Before we get started, we have a couple of housekeeping items to attend to. If you have any questions at all, please put them in the question section in your portal. We will be answering them at the end of the webinar. If we don't answer your question during the question and answer period, somebody from LittleBits will be reaching out to answer any questions you might have. If you have any audio or technical problems, also put your questions there, and I will be addressing them specifically and privately to you to help you troubleshoot. And with that, I would love to introduce our panelists today. And I'll talk a little bit about the agenda that we're going to go over. We're going to first hear from Allison Bonata. She's the head of education sales here at LittleBits. She'll do a quick introduction to LittleBits for those of you who may not know what LittleBits is all about. And then she's going to pass it to Sergio Anaya. He is the Supervisor of Instructional Innovation at Colonial School District in Pennsylvania. And he'll talk about how his school district has really integrated LittleBits into their program and into their curriculum. And I think it's a really inspirational program that they have going on. And then we'll pass it back to Allison, and she will go over sort of the nuts and bolts of bringing LittleBits to your school or district, and hopefully you guys can come away with some really great ideas. I should note for any of you who are joining us from outside of the United States that most of our programming is about the United States school system, but that doesn't mean it's not applicable. If you have any questions, put them in there and we'll address them for you. So with that, I'm going to get started. I'm going to pass it over to Allison, and we'll get going.
Thanks so much, Christine. As she mentioned, I am Allison with the LittleBits Education Sales Team. I'm really excited to be here with you guys today. And I really just want to go over some of the LittleBits basics and get you guys familiar with LittleBits for some of those of you who may not have had a chance to get hands-on with this or see anything in action yet. So first of all, what is LittleBits? I think the best way to talk about what is LittleBits, what is the mission of LittleBits? So at LittleBits, we are on a mission to democratize hardware by empowering everyone to create inventions, large and small, with a platform of easy-to-use electronic building blocks. So what does that mean? At its heart, we want to encourage the next generation of inventors to invent and reinvent the world that they want to live in by building the skills and competencies necessary to thrive in an ever-changing world with ever-changing responsibilities for careers, problem solving, and those 21st century skills. So we were founded by Aya Badir. She's an engineer and an interactive artist. She's graduated from the MIT Media Lab. Sorry, I just heard that I am a little bit muffled. So Aya graduated from the MIT Media Lab. She's a senior TED Fellow and a leader in the maker movement. Basically, she took a look at the current state of engineering whenever she was at MIT and thought it was a little bit too dry, it's a little bit too boring, too text heavy, and kind of had this idea or this question of why is it that only people with highly technical skills are able to create, play, and invent with electronics? She said, you know, that's not okay. We should really try to open up the world of electronics to everyone and make it more accessible and easy for people to create, play, and invent. And thus, LittleBits was born. So how does LittleBits work? LittleBits is a system of easy-to-use electronic building blocks. They snap together with magnets, and they're color-coded for easy identification of different pieces. So if we start with the blues are your power source. This may be something powered by a 9-volt battery or a rechargeable battery bank or a USB power. Every electronic device that we work with needs a power source, and that's where the blue pieces come in. The next one we have in line are the pink pieces. Those are your inputs, and those are the controls. They will tell your circuit or every piece afterwards how to behave. So that's where you get sensors, switches, environmental sensors, buttons, things like that. Moving down the chain, we get to our orange pieces, which are wire or logic. Now, these are really, really handy and sophisticated pieces. They can be as simple as an extension, where you can add some distance in your circuit or some flexibility, but can be as sophisticated as adding coding or internet connectivity, basic logic, basic programming skills. Then as we move further down the line, we get to our outputs, which are the green ones, and those are your doers. So those are the pieces that will add light or sound or movement to the circuit. And littleBits is an ever-growing library. We're constantly thinking of new ideas and empowering others to create new pieces that interact with the littleBits library. Some of the ones we've added in recent years is our Arduino module, which allows you to incorporate coding, or our CloudBit, which allows you to connect to the internet. And we're constantly thinking about different pieces that may make the platform more powerful. So no matter where you start, your library can only become more sophisticated as you grow and you gain those skills. And all bits are designed to play together. So no matter what kit you start with, you can only grow from there. The other side of the littleBits platform is the integration with other systems and other platforms. So we started out with just a small adapter that lets you connect littleBits to a Lego axle, and since there we've grown to other to incorporate different hardwares and softwares, and we're definitely not done yet. So we've integrated with Makey to allow you to create circuits that are activated by conductive materials out in the world, working on a Scratch integration to allow block programming capabilities. Arduino, as I mentioned, allows you to add coding, and then IFT, which is a service called If This Then That, that allows you to connect your circuits to the internet and activate them in different ways. And on that note, I want to pass to Sergio now, who has some great tips and tricks and is going to share with us how he brought littleBits to his district and the successes that he's had. So without further ado.
Okay, thank you. My name is Sergio Anaya. I am the Curriculum Supervisor of Innovation and Learning here in the Colonial School District. And I'm going to talk to you about a little bit about how we've developed our STEAM culture and how littleBits has really helped us to create opportunities for our students to be innovative and to really create. So we first started by looking at our K-5 technology curriculum. We wanted to make sure that when we integrated a program that we did it systemically and that it was equitable for all of our students. So this was the place that we had to look. So we really had to think about the way we looked at our technology curriculum and our labs. So the traditional lab, of course, always had computers, a mouse, and it really wasn't a very unique space for kids to create, innovate, and design. So what we did is we took out all of the desktop computers, and we integrated a very open space with iPads and a number of other tools so that our kids would have the space to create and design. And when we integrated littleBits into our creativity and designing unit, they were a perfect fit to what we wanted our kids to know and be able to do by the end of each of our units. So we created an information technology curriculum that's based off creativity and design, innovation, learning, and basically around the 4 C's. And as you can see here, we also integrate the littleBits with our Makeys or Scratches, Public Pals, Codable, and Lego. So our K-5 information technology has 4 main elements: coding and programming, creativity and design, digital storytelling. And we want our curriculum to become interdisciplinary, meaning that we want to be able to develop the skills in our technology curriculum so that our students can then apply those skills in their core content areas, which I'll give you a couple of examples here in a minute. So our creativity and designing unit is where we first introduce littleBits to our students. Now, the purpose of this specific unit is to really introduce students to the idea of creating new products, of actually innovating and actually designing something that is new. And the essential question that helps drive this is, how do we use technology to imagine or invent something new? So it's basically open-ended for our kids to really design and use their imaginations and to play. And LittleBits really helps them to create actual working models of whatever invention it is that they're working on. We first start off by introducing the students to the LittleBits challenge and task cards. And we put the kids in small groups, and they go through the challenge and task cards till they become very familiar with all the various components of LittleBits. As they are going through the unit, we have them document what they're learning and what they're doing through their creativity and design journals. For us, knowing what the kids, having an artifact of learning from our students is extremely important for us, because it really gives us a glimpse into what it is that they actually know and what it is that they're doing in the course. Layered on top of that, we also introduce at this stage the engineering and design process. This is pretty much geared K through 12 as we start to develop our innovative curriculum as it moves into the middle school and the high school as well. At the very end of this unit in third grade, our students are tested or assessed with a group of scaffolded performance tasks. We want to make sure that our students, no matter what level they are going to be successful at showing us what they learned and how they use the LittleBits to actually create and design something new. An example of one of those performance tasks, here students created a slide that would, it's basically a safety mechanism where students would be able to take turns sliding down the slide in a safe manner. As one student slid down the slide, they would press the button, which would hit a green light up at the top with the LittleBits, and the other student would know that it would be safe to slide down the slide itself. When we talk interdisciplinary, and this is a video which I'm not going to show, in our 5th grade social studies curriculum, our students are studying innovators and inventors of the 20th century. And what our students are tasked with in this unit, they're tasked with using all of the various technologies that they've been introduced to K-5 to actually create a tool that one of their students with a disability can use in the classroom to make learning in the classroom a lot easier. So this is one way that we're integrating LittleBits into our core social studies classroom. As we move to the middle school, our middle school tech ed department, our middle school information technology department, they're working on creating a keytar. And a keytar is basically a guitar that, using a number of the LittleBits modules, will allow the student with a disability to actually make music using this keytar. Now, working with the tech ed department, the kids in the tech ed department are designing and 3D printing various pieces to hold the keytar together or to give it the shape and the form so that it would fit in the hands of the students. In our middle school science curriculum, we've started to integrate LittleBits in their Earth and Space and Science unit. The teacher is using the energy meter to identify and to look at light sources around them. They use a number of the various LittleBit components to look at the electromagnetic spectrum. They created an experiment to measure the amount of sunlight that can travel through our atmosphere using a number of the bits and a number of the various components that LittleBits has. They've created a star chart, they built the Mars rover, and they started to work with thermometers and cloud cover meters harnessing the more complex LittleBits that Allison talked about earlier, the ones who are tied to the internet with the cloud bits, etc. Professional development, when we first started this program, we really had to look internally to provide professional development for our teachers. We had a number of teachers who were just go-getters and went out and learned as much as they possibly could through LittleBits. Since then, LittleBits has created a STEAM professional development course that any one of our teachers who touches LittleBits or who uses LittleBits in the classroom, they actually have to go through this course as well. And so this course has been extremely beneficial to my teachers and extremely beneficial to us in helping to continue to develop and refine our curriculum to meet the needs of our students. Some of the highlights, of course, it's great working with littleBits and working with the team. I know that Aaron Mulcahy had given us the heads up that we did get a shout out at Ada's press conference at the White House, and we were very grateful for that recognition and being a part of such a great company such as littleBits. Now I will pass it on to Allison. Allison, are you there?
Sure. Sorry, I had myself muted. Well, thank you so much, Sergio. I know that your district is really an inspiration, and really appreciate you taking the time to share your story and your successes. So I wanted to take the time now to talk a little bit about littleBits in education. What does it currently look like? Why littleBits in education? And what does the future hold for us? So first, to address the question of why littleBits in education? Why is this an important movement? And how does littleBits fit into the STEM and STEAM education and maker movement at large? First and foremost, littleBits is a powerful platform for 21st century learning. We're really working on building STEM and STEAM literacy and kind of trying to take a look under the hood of those consumer electronics that we deal with every day. And beyond that, really working to lower the barrier of entry into technical fields and careers by making them easy and fun. We've heard time and time again that it can be difficult for students to see themselves in these technical fields or in these technical careers, and by making it easier and more accessible for those students, they can really begin to see themselves in the larger picture of career or technical fields and more creative engineering and STEM and STEAM fields as well. We're also working to engage students by empowering them to not only understand, but also to reinvent, to look at the world and say, how can I make this better? What holes can I fill? What problems can I solve? And beyond that, building 21st century skills, including creative confidence, communication, collaboration skills, and of course, problem solving. This is one of my favorite quotes by Mitch Resnick, head of the Lifelong Kindergarten Group at MIT Media Lab. He says that the best technologies have low floors, high ceilings, and wide walls. And what this really means is low floors. Technologies provide an easy way for people to get started, people of all ages, of all abilities, any gender. They really make that barrier of entry very, very low. But they have high ceilings, so you can create very sophisticated, very complex projects using these tools. And then the wide walls aspect applies to appealing to a wide variety of people, but also a wide variety of disciplines. You can use this tool in many different settings to achieve many different goals. This is a great graphic kind of demonstrating how the littleBit system in particular grows with you. So you can start very simply, again, that low floor with lights, sound switches, and then as you gain competency and confidence, as your skills grow, you can progress up this ladder to more sophisticated interactions by incorporating basic logic or basic programming and coding, and then eventually graduating all the way up to hardware development where you're actually building your own pieces to integrate into the littleBits library. In terms of wide walls, littleBits becomes a tool. It becomes a tool just like you would use cardboard or a 3D printer or paint. And by empowering your students to solve problems, they start to think in terms of tools. What do I have in my toolbox that will allow me to solve this problem or create this invention? And this really applies to many different disciplines. Some of the more natural fits would, of course, be science or technology or robotics, but also branching into humanities and art. We've had teachers use littleBits to create interactive sculptures or Sergio, I believe, actually did a unit around the Americans with Disabilities Act relating into social studies and prototyping solutions with littleBits for Americans with disabilities. So really diverse number of applications depending on each teacher's intent and their needs. So what does it mean to be an inventor? Again, we are really working to empower students to invent and reinvent the world, taking kids from saying, man, I wish I could do this or make this or create this, to, hey, I think I can do that using these different tools and these competencies and this confidence that I've gained through exploration. We really believe that inventions related to solving real-world problems that are relevant to kids' lives helps to empower them and keep them engaged in STEM and STEAM learning, as well as better preparing them for responsibilities of careers that we haven't even created yet. Taking it from, you know, you need to use this or you need to know this for the future to something much more relatable and relevant to their day-to-day lives, something that is instantaneous and that you can really see the effects almost immediately. So where is littleBits now? Currently, we, again, are a growing movement. We are working with about 12,000 individual educators in 3,000 schools, 400 universities, 270 makerspaces and libraries across the world in 60 different countries. How did we get there? By and large, we have an amazing, amazing community of educators who have worked to implement littleBits in a number of different ways across their programs, from district-wide makerspaces at Colonial Independent School District in Texas, who's actually used littleBits in their library makerspaces and expanding to all of their middle schools to create a place where students can come, prototype, play, express their ideas, across disciplines, to Sergio's implementation that we just heard about district-wide in 3rd through 5th grade and also using in high school makerspaces. And then another example in Collier County, Florida, each year they run a district-wide STEM competition in which 4th grade students all across the district come and compete to create an invention or a prototype of a product that will either solve a problem or represent something from history. And they change the theme every year. That's a really amazing program as well. And then where are we now? What are we doing currently? As of this summer, the New York City Department of Education has selected littleBits, the STEAM student set, which I'll talk about a little bit later, to be a primary learning tool in a STEM-enriched summer program for 2,100 students in grades 2 through 5. So they'll be using littleBits in a series of workshops with these students and really, again, helping to bring that STEM and STEAM learning both in the classroom and out of the classroom. And how do we do that? It's the tools, the kits, the bits that we have available. So I want to take a couple of minutes to talk about some of the newer kits and programs that we have available. The most recently launched kit is the STEAM student set. It comes with 8 invention challenges, 19 individual bits, detailed instructions, and companion lessons. This kit is really amazing for people that are looking for a place to get started. It has all of the accessories you need, all of the instructions, real-world ties, aligns to NGSS, tips and tricks. It's a really amazing, comprehensive experience for people that are looking for a place to get started. There's a student guide that will allow you to get your students creating right off the bat without much teacher support, but there's also a comprehensive teacher's guide that that has fully developed lessons walking teachers and students through introducing littleBits, the littleBits design engineering invention cycle, and then has structured lessons, step-by-step lessons to create something, but also more open-ended prompts to allow students to incorporate those problem-solving skills. It supports up to 4 students at a time and is geared primarily towards grades 3 through 8, but it is available as well in larger custom class packs if you have a larger group of students that you're looking to accommodate. The counterpart to the littleBits STEAM student set is the littleBit STEAM professional development that Sergio spoke about a little bit. This is a totally comprehensive program helping teachers to incorporate littleBits in all facets of their programs. At the end, you'll come out with a fully developed action plan that will allow you to begin thinking about and develop these existing lessons. How do I incorporate littleBits into something that I'm already doing, but also thinking about how to build new lessons, and as you're developing your programs and developing your curriculum, thinking about the different tools that you have available. It's 6 hours and it's all online. It's broken out into 5 self-paced sessions, everything from what is littleBits and how do I introduce it to my students, all the way through to, again, building out those unique lesson plans custom to your program. Upon completion, you'll receive a PDU certificate with 6 credit hours, and the PD is hands-on, so you definitely want to have some bits on hand so that you can really get into the nitty-gritty and build those projects and really experience littleBits from the perspective of the teacher, but also from the perspective of the student. If those don't seem like quite the right fit, there are tons of other products in our education portfolio, and we have a staff of education specialists on hand that are totally amazing and really willing to dive in with you and help you decide what program or what product are the best for your needs. Some of the ones we have available, as I mentioned, the STEAM student set and the STEAM class packs. These are great for more structured or formal learning. So we've seen a lot of success in the classroom, also in libraries and makerspaces or informal after-school settings that are more geared towards structured which are a little bit more open-ended. They're amazing collections for more informal or unstructured learning environments where students maybe are given a prompt and they want to have a little bit more open-ended exploration. They do each comes with an educator guide that gives you some suggestions for how to introduce littleBits to your student, task cards that Sergio mentioned earlier, and some key tips and tricks for using littleBits with students. In terms of more guided or directed kits, the Arduino coding kit is one that we really recommend for teachers who are starting to branch into coding. The Arduino coding kit is unique in that it allows you to kind of zoom out on the hardware and focus really on the code. So this is an Arduino bit that integrates directly with the littleBit system and allows you to use the Arduino IDE, program your bits and your circuits, and then plug them into the existing littleBit system. So how does this fit back into our picture of low floors and high ceilings? Again, the littleBit system is meant to grow the skills and grow with your students and with yourself as you gain more confidence and technical skills. So you start out with something that's a little bit more entry level, something that starts to build that confidence and those competencies with the STEAM student set, and then can graduate again to the Arduino coding kit, which will allow you to incorporate basic programming and coding, the CloudBit Starter Kit, which begins to integrate Wi-Fi connectivity and prototyping of smart home devices, all the way to the Hardware Development Kit, which will allow students to prototype their own bits to integrate into the littleBit system. And you know, you're not alone. We're definitely here to help support and help provide content and ideas for how to bring littleBits into your classrooms. There are a number of guides available on our website, all free to download and super handy when you're thinking about what what key components do you need to think about when bringing littleBits to your classes. There's a library of case studies, true stories of other educators that have had success and how they've done it and some of their key learnings. Again, the Educator's Guide and the Teacher's Guide are wonderful resources for thinking about kind of the nitty-gritty day-to-day. How do I troubleshoot the bits? How do I introduce them to my students? How do I incorporate them into different disciplines, into different programs? And then the Librarian's Guide to STEM and STEAM and starting a STEM and STEAM program are a little bit more of a high-level view of littleBits and how it may fit into a larger STEM and STEAM program. Additionally, there's a library of lessons available on our website, so if you're ever looking for inspiration or want to see what other people have done or what littleBits has done in different disciplines, that's a wealth of knowledge, a really wonderful resource. And of course, if you have any questions, we are on hand and totally available and excited to come and chat and talk about your programs. So please feel free to reach out to us at educationsales@littlebits.cc or give us a call. As I mentioned, we're always really willing to help. So thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate you letting me come and be a part of this and spending an hour of time with us. I'm going to pass this back over to Christine here just a sec.
Thank you so much, Allison. That was really great, and Sergio, it was really inspiring. And thank you, everybody, for staying with us all through this point. And so now we're going to be answering some of the questions. And the first question, Sergio, is for you. You did mention the process about bringing this in with your teachers, and if you could talk a little bit more about your best practices for bringing in littleBits, and how do you get your teachers or your librarians on board? How do you get them excited about using a tool like this? And do you have any advice to other people in your position?
The first thing that we looked at was our curriculum. Here we believe that curriculum drives the use of technology in the classroom. We don't just use tools for the sake of the tools. And when we developed our curriculum to really focus on innovation, littleBits really are the only tool that we've been using that, as you saw in the presentation, that are both scalable and continue to grow with our kids. We introduced them in 3rd grade. But we're looking at starting to create that developer kit and move that developer kit to the high school level. But to get buy-in from our teachers, it's just well-coordinated professional development, making sure that the teachers understand what the curriculum goals are, and then really putting them in a situation to actually learn from each other and work with the littleBits. We make them go through the curriculum and actually complete the assignments we have for the students with the littleBits. And I have to say that the professional development session, the 6 hours, was key for my middle school teachers to really start to move into the cloud bits and into some of the more sophisticated bits that littleBits has. And any new teacher that we have coming in that's working with littleBits actually has to go through that professional development session to get them ready to teach our curriculum.
Thank you. And so for the teachers out there who are looking to bring this to their classrooms or the libraries, do you have any advice for them in terms of bringing a tool like this to an administrator? If they think this is a really good idea, do you have any advice for them about how they would approach their administrator about getting approval for a tool like this or any other STEAM learning tool? This is for Sergio.
When people talk about STEAM or STEM, this tool really helps students, and I keep saying it again, innovate, create, put them in opportunities to collaborate. This really is a gateway tool for helping not only content area teachers, but technology teachers and students utilize the tool across multiple areas. We first started with our technology teachers, and it's spread into our science teachers are starting to use it, our social studies teachers are using the tool with their students, and next year our math teachers at the middle school will be implementing a number of the kits to help our students use math. So it has so many different opportunities, and it would be an easy fit to whatever goal every district, and every district is different, but it's an easy fit to really be successful and integrate a tool successfully with students and administrators.
Wonderful, thank you. there's a couple housekeeping questions I've seen come up in terms of will the webinar be available to download or recorded. It is being recorded and it will be sent out within 24 hours of the end of the webinar. So keep a lookout on your inbox, and we'll also be posting it on YouTube. The next question is for Allison, talking about funding for littleBits. We've seen a couple questions about that. What are some of the ways that you've seen on your end that teachers or administrators are getting creative with funding, and if you could talk a little bit about that?
Definitely. We understand that funding can sometimes be tough to come by, and one of the things that we do offer is we offer 5% off on all of our products and services to education customers, anybody who's working in formal or informal settings, classroom teachers, librarians, makerspaces, and information on that is available at littlebits.cc/education. So that's definitely one thing that we've seen a number of educators taking advantage of. We're also working on developing a guide to funding, so we'll be releasing that within the next couple of months. So definitely keep an eye on your inbox for that. It's going to have some great tips and tricks for what pots of funding you can potentially pull from, and other more creative resources potentially. Practically, some of the things that we've seen work really well for educators are Donors Choose has been very successful, creating a campaign there and kind of crowdsourcing the funding. Additionally, we've had teachers that have went to their parent-teacher association and requested funding there. There are many grants available both at the state and at the federal level for STEM and STEAM learning tools, as well as professional development. So there's funding out there. It can be a little tricky to locate, but those are the key pieces that we've seen people have success with thus far.
Great, thank you. One of the questions that's come in has been about, it's a little more of a nuts and bolts question about storing bits and how sturdy they are. And I think, Allison, maybe you want to take this first, and then Sergio can add on.
Certainly. So littleBits, we've designed them to be robust, and we've designed them to be reused time and time again in classrooms and in homes by kids and by parents and by teachers. So they are designed to be sturdy, but we do understand that in a high volume, high use scenario, sometimes things do happen. Each kit comes with a 90-day warranty for defective items. So if you have any issues with a product that you receive, reach out to our customer support team. They're wonderful at troubleshooting and are very willing to help with replacements if we're able to, and troubleshooting tips and tricks. As far as storage, we have a couple of different solutions. The littleBits Pro Library comes with a wall storage option that has a series of panels and bins that will allow you to separate your bits into different components and different areas. Another thing that has been wildly popular is the tackle box. It's a really awesome purple briefcase that allows you to keep many different kits in, and is included in the class packs as well as the workshop set in the Pro Library. So those are some of the solutions that we offer. But Sergio, do you have any suggestions for alternative solutions?
We really utilize what littleBits provides. The wall sets with the Pro Pack they're really good at holding our littleBits in a safe place, and over the summer we can quickly grab them and store them so that there's no damage to them over the summer. The tackle box is robust for some of our classroom kits, so the options that littleBits has, they've been really good for us. And as far as replacement goes, littleBits has been very good with when an item breaks, as long as we can document how it took place and we can send it back, we get a replacement pretty quick.
Wonderful, thank you. Allison, this question is for you. Casey would like to know if you can elaborate a little bit more about PD. Is it web-based? Is it one seat for the price? A little bit more detail around that would be great.
Sure. So the professional development program is web-based. It's broken out into 6 hours, 5 individual sessions, so it's totally self-guided. You can stop at any point and come back, do a refresher of any of the sessions that you've already completed. It's sold on a per-seat basis, so one subscription that you'd receive would be for one teacher, and you'll have access to the littleBits PD course, the online course, for 6 months after your activation date. So even if you go through and complete, the course in 6 hours, you'll have access to all of the work you've done, the videos, the quizzes, and the content for 6 months. A really great resource for people wanting to take a little bit of a deeper view into littleBits and how to incorporate.
Thank you very much. Sergio, this question is for you. This person would like to know a little bit more about how you use littleBits for the star charts, and I think the broader question is, where did you get some of your lesson inspiration? Did your teachers come up with a lot of it on their own? Did you use littleBits resources? Did you connect with other schools? It'd be great to hear about that.
For the science unit, our science teacher at the middle school worked closely. We're currently in the process of going through professional development, STEAM professional development with Discovery Education as well. So one of the coaches worked closely with our middle school teacher to help build ideas to not only implement the littleBits piece, but also to implement STEAM into her classroom as well. So the teachers basically come up with the ideas for the most part, and then it all depends on the curriculum. When they were doing the star chart, they were looking at the space and moon units. When they were looking at the filters for the lights, they were looking at how satellites penetrate the Earth's atmosphere, and they were trying to mimic that with the littleBits as well. So it really depends on what the curriculum needs the kids to be, and littleBits actually allow the students to create a working prototype instead of drawing it or imagining it. They can actually create something that actually works.
Wow, thank you. That was wonderful. We do have some people who are from all over the world, and they're asking about connections in their own countries and other ways they connect with other educators. And Allison, I think you can take this one.
Sure. So one of the great things that our community team has been working to build out is a global chapters program, both school-based and community-based. And basically what that means is I believe there are 230 chapters in over 60 different countries at the moment, and those are people in different cities around the world that are running workshops with littleBits for people in the community. Sometimes they take place within schools, sometimes they take place in people's homes, sometimes they're in the library or in a community center. So we definitely are working to build out a global network of littleBits enthusiasts and people who want to share their experiences with littleBits. To get more information about that, you can go to our website, and it's littlebits.cc/chapters. You can search for a chapter in your area and see what events they're running in the future.
Thank you. That is also very helpful. We have a question here from Jane. How does littleBits collect stories and case studies and lessons from educators? And I think the broader question is, how do educators communicate with us? And Allison, if you want to take this one?
Sure. So there are a couple of different ways that educators get in touch with us. One is through our forum. We have an open forum where people come to share stories, share ideas, work with each other on different projects. So that is a really amazing resource if you're looking to chat with other folks about what they're doing or share your experience. The other thing is you can reach out to the education specialist team or our customer support team and share any feedback or experiences that you've had there. Really, really great team of people that are able to kind of compile that feedback, compile those stories, and make sure that it is shared with the appropriate littleBits team members. And then we also will regularly send out kind of surveys and feedback requests, so that's another really great way to tell us how we're doing and what you love, what you hate, and what you think we can do better.
And I would also add to that one that we communicate with a lot of educators over Twitter. People on Twitter are very, very active, and it's so much fun for us to see what educators, librarians, administrators, teachers, kids are coming up with. And educators also communicating with each other on other topics, not just about littleBits. So I would definitely recommend checking that out. This is moving on to a very practical question. Allison, is it possible to buy individual bits?
Definitely. We know that sometimes you want to just get a couple of individual add-ons. So almost all of the bits are available as individual pieces, and we're constantly updating that list to make sure that everybody has access to the individual pieces that are most useful and up to date. So you can see that at littlebits.cc/bits.
Oh, thank you very much. I think we've covered most of the questions. If you still have a question, please reach out to us at education@littlebits.cc or myself, Christine.Leonard@littlebits.cc. Thank you so much for our panelists, Allison and Sergio, for joining us. Thank you for all of you. Enjoy the rest of your afternoon, and happy inventing.